Hey, people of the tube, it's Mr. Fix-It coming back at you. Hey, I'm gonna do a video, do something a little bit different. This is midstream through a project, and I wanted to go through some of the things I go through to do a project. Now these countertops, I primered them, I prepped them, I rounded them off with my sander, okay. But this is the multi-spec. Now they're telling me that there's these little bubbles inside of it that pop as they go through the sprayer gun. I'm seeing it more like the flecks, the little fleck things you throw into the paint. Well, it looks more to me when I observe the paint that they just have those flecks are inside of it, and it's just shooting those flecks out as it goes. So you have to have a gun, powerful enough, but yet, you're not blowing the paint off the surface. So they do make a gun, but it costs $2,000. Well, that's not in my budget. So my goal is to find a way to spray this multi-spec onto this counter, and and make it look like it should, like a professional did it. Okay. Now the main dilemmas I'm going through. Okay, I actually rolled the stuff on with a real fine roller, cigar roller I call them. I can't find the thing here. I don't know what I did with it. But oh, here it is right here. They got these little rollers you can get at Home Depot. Now they actually told me that these roller covers were better than the foam roller covers. Okay, so, and I agree with them. After I tried it, I painted the primer on, and it actually looks pretty good. And like I said, I rounded, all the edges were square, so I rounded all these edges over, and to make it look like granite, because most of the time the granite, when you get it, the slabs are just rounded over the corners, and so I wanted to have that effect of true granite. So the dilemmas I'm going through, for one thing, I'm going to complain this video, but the blue tape, like in the bathrooms, I'm doing the bathrooms too, all the tape comes off like after a period of time. Like yesterday, this on here, this right here, this tape, okay, you can see how it came off again. But I have literally pushed this tape back on like 3 times or 4 times, okay? So it's like really irritating for me. The price just went up. It's like $6.80 something for a roll of tape, okay? So then I'm buying the tape, going through all this time to put it up, and I'm like, okay, maybe it doesn't stick to the wall, because I did wash the wall, but maybe there's something on the wall. So what I did on the edges, I went with this tape, so it's even costing me more money. This tape first, I put on the edges, and then I took my taper, this thing right here. Okay, so then I take this, okay, and this has the 1-inch tape on it. Okay, so I figure I'll stick the tape to the tape, because that's how you get the roll. Well, it's like it still comes off. So when you get ready to spray, you want to push all these edges down and make sure they're nice and tight, because when you spray anywhere where it's open, it's going to ricochet and it's going to go up on your wall and make a mess. So I'm just making you aware that it is $7 a roll, okay, but it doesn't mean that it's going to do its job like it should. Now, I mean, I never had this problem before, but now I'm in the desert, it's dry here, so that might have something to do with it. Or maybe they just aren't making the tape with the stickiness the way it used to. But for every reason, be aware that when you put the tape on, if you don't spray it right away, make sure you go through and push this tape back down. Because even at $7 a roll, it's not perfect, okay? And you're gonna have to work with it. So I pushed that down like 3 times, okay? And I have been testing stuff for like 2 days now. I've gone through 2 different type of Wagner guns, okay? I have tried to use. Okay, and I'm in the middle of the project. I'm doing this video on purpose in the middle so you can see sometimes what I have to go through to save $2,000 basically. But anyway, I do countertops once in a while, so I really don't want to spend $2 grand to do a countertop once in a while. But I really like the effect of this spec, this multi-spec. Okay, right here. Okay, so. And you have to go to a paint shop for that stuff. They don't sell that like in a Home Depot or something. I had to go to Reno Paint Shop. So you go to a paint shop, authentic paint shop, and they will set you up with all the stuff, you know, that you need. Like they gave me the primer, the multi-spec, and they also gave me the sealer that goes on top. It's actually a 2-part sealer. You got to mix in the hardener. So that stuff's really hard, and that's what I like for countertops, because I don't like when you cut into them with a knife and it leaves a mark on the countertop. So I know you're supposed to have a cutting board and all that stuff, but I try to, you know, make the thing as user-friendly as possible. So I'm really happy with the corners that I went over, sanded them, rounded them over. I'm really happy with that. I'm really happy with the primer. The primer came out good. And on this, the laminate, they had like, they had green on the ends and white in the middle. So I actually went over the green part with 2 or 3 coats because I wanted the whole thing to be white with primer, the same shade of white. Because if you don't do that, your finished coat, I don't care what you say, you'll see where the darker part was. Like if I just went over the green and the white, you could actually see that there's actually a darker shade of the multi-spec on the green part than there is on the top where it's white. So I try to make all the areas uniform and consistent. So I went over that twice. Now, I use this roller to put the primer on, which worked out good. You could spray the primer on too, and spraying the primer, you could have used one of these, you know, one of these guns. It doesn't work for the multi-spec though. So I went through 2 guns, okay, and I got the idea of the orifice. I took my biggest orifice that didn't work, the end, the nozzle, okay? There's an orifice in that, that's the hole. So it wasn't big enough. It started getting all clogged up. So I actually drilled a bigger hole in, you know, to make the orifice bigger, and it still didn't work. The problem is that you have these atomizers, okay? These go into the gun, and these guns don't work without the atomizer. And I mean, you guys, if you have a different experience, then please share it with me. But I couldn't get the paint spec, the multi-spec, to go through this atomizer. It was clogging, and the gun doesn't work without this atomizer in it. So, yeah, sure, I drilled out the holes in the, you know, in the nozzle, but you know, these holes are too small. But this actually flips the paint around inside the gun, I guess. That's how it's been explained to me. But the atomizer, it doesn't go through. It just clogged up, and then all of a sudden the flakes would just push through and it would clump up on the counters. I mean, here, let me show you right here what it did. I actually did a part Okay, so you could see where it blobbed out, okay, and that's not acceptable. So I went ahead and brushed that up off of there, and I left the spot that was flat. I'm just going to spray over that when I finally figure out what sprayer to use. But these are my, and I'm sharing all this with you so you know what I go through to get to a point where I want to be. But anyway, my next step is an HVLP gun, okay? So these are what they use for spraying cars and all. So they actually, the sprayer that they make for this uses one of these guns, but you have to have a big enough orifice in the nozzle. Okay, so with this one, I found out that the cheaper guns, yeah, if you want to spend $1 grand or $2 for a gun, they come with multi-nozzles, okay? But with this gun, it only comes with the one nozzle. These are the cheaper guns from Harbor Freight. So this one only came with a 1.4. And then I found out you got to order bigger nozzles, or they might not even have bigger nozzles for this gun because it is a cheaper gun. So the more expensive ones, they come with 2 or 3 nozzles. But this one here, if they have it, you got to order it, so it takes a couple days or a week to come. So what I did was I took it apart, and again, I reamed out this nozzle so it was bigger. Okay, because basically that's what you're getting, when you order one, a 1.8 or a 2.3 or whatever. It's just the orifice in here is bigger. So what I did was I took this off and I reamed it out with a drill bit, okay? So this is my next task. I'm gonna fill this gun, HVLP gun, up with the paint, and I'm gonna try this next, okay, and see if it works, okay? And this is all, so every time I get a countertop, I can use this Multispec without the $2,000 gun on. I'm trying to figure out a way. I may not be able to do it, I don't know, but I'm trying. So this is my next. I'm going to try this HVLP gun, okay? And if it doesn't work, I got a plan here. I'm going to try my texture gun with the smallest orifice in, okay? So this is my next stop. But as you can see, I took the big hopper off, and I think I'm going to attach a Gatorade bottle to the top of here, and that'll be my last resort. If this doesn't work, then I don't know what will. But I'm hoping that my HVLP gun will work. Okay, now when you spray these countertops, you got to cover everything, folks, okay? I got the floor covered. I'll show you the floor, okay? The floor is all covered, okay? So you got the floor. All the floor is covered all the way around. Now, naturally, if you're redoing the floors, then you can just spray it. It don't matter. But most of the time, the countertops are last because you don't want all the dirt and everything to get on your countertops. That's like the wow or the wow factor of the kitchen. So we normally do that last. So I just took and covered everything up, all the tape. Make sure you double check your tape, make sure it's stuck. Even if you just did it an hour before, make sure everything is stuck to the wall so you're not going to get overspray underneath that paper. Okay, I have plastic, the plastic I got for the counters. Okay, you can see that. Okay. Alright. I try to keep the camera mounted somewhere because I shake so bad. People don't realize that I do videos because the only way I have to do them is by holding the camera. And I really don't get paid to do all this channel, so I'm at a limited budget. Can't hire a videographer or a photographer, so I just do the best I can. But my hand shakes so bad when I'm eating. Sometimes the fork is empty by the time I get it to my mouth. So if you can imagine that. Okay, so hang with me here, folks. I get people saying, "Oh, the video shakes. What the hell?" You know, and I know you can edit it out and all that stuff, but I don't have time for all that right now. I mean, if I'm getting paid for the channel, sure, you know what I mean? Sure, I'll spend, 500 on an editor program and all that, but really, I don't have the time to sit down with every video. And I mean, I gotta do what I gotta do. But anyway, to get back to where I was, check your tape. Okay, sometimes it comes loose. Like I said, I've already pushed this back onto the wall 3 times before I get ready to spray. I'm going to push it up against there again. Okay, this is multi-spec, okay? Normally it takes a $2,000 gun to spray it on. I'm trying to figure out a way to shortcut that so I don't have to spend that money but get the look, okay? The problem is there's little specks in it. I tried the Wagner electric gun, gets stuck in the atomizer, okay? Just a little review of what we've gone over. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try this HVLP gun. I took the 1.4 nozzle and I reamed it out. I'm going to try that. If that doesn't work, then I'm going to try the texture gun, okay, with a different top. Because when you're spraying these cabinets, you want to be able to move the gun around, stop and start it. So to have that big hopper for texture, it's not going to work. So that'll be my last resort. So stay tuned, guys. I figured I'd bring you in ahead of time on this project. A lot of people were, how did you get to that point? And not just on my videos, I see it on a lot of videos I watch, where they show you the start and they show you the finish, but they never show you how, what the middle is. So this is all the middle. This is everything, and like I said, I've been on this sprayer for 2 days because, you fill the sprayer with the paint. You can't use water or anything because this has the specs in it. So you can't even use paint. So every time I fill that sprayer and try one, I got to clean it out. So I've been through 3 guns already. So hopefully one of these will work out and I'll be able to get this done. But once I get it done, I'll show you the finished product. I wanted you to see what I go through to get to this point. Once I do this first one, this is the first one, I should have a program and I'll be able to, I'll go through the steps, my steps to get this countertop to look the way it should. Okay? Thanks for coming, man. I'm trying to give you the full view here of how a project comes forth. Okay? Stay tuned. I'll have a video of the finished product when and if I'm able to figure it out. You guys are great. Like and subscribe. Share the video. Thanks for coming. Mr. Fix It, I'm out.